Awesome. No pressure. I'm going to, because I did not put it in earlier, I have linked to the slides. You can see the bit.ly here. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, the bit.ly's right there. Capital DIY, Baloo EdTech is the bit.ly. And you can go to that. So you can follow along, because I didn't get it posted on the spreadsheet, but let's go ahead and get started. This is DIY, creating self-paced tutorials. We'll start with who am I? Because who do I think I am to say anything to anybody? My name is Frederick Baloo. I go by Rick. I'm an ISTE certified educator, leading edge certified professional learning leader, blah, 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 all this stuff. I teach beginning band in Bloomington, Minnesota. I've been doing that since 1998, but I have a passion for ed tech. In fact, my most recent master's is in ed tech. And so I really enjoy learning about new tools and using them to make teaching, easier for others as well as myself. What we're going to cover today are self-paced tutorials. So let's move on. Why? How many of you have created the perfect explainer, right? How many of you have in your lesson, you've gotten ready, you're having to teach virtually, as many of us have had to do multiple times throughout this whole pandemic. You create a list of everything they need to work on, you bullet point it, you show multiple ways that they can understand it, and you end up getting this.
I love you, beautiful people.
All right, everybody, let's go this way. Come on. Well, I have an exciting day planned, but first, listen, whenever we stop the bus, whether it be for restrooms or lunch or for touring, the driver or I will lock the bus. So you can leave whatever you need in there. Cameras, sweaters, handbags, anything.
What about sweaters?
Anything. Handbags? Yes.
Cameras too?
Cameras too. Anything, anytime, anywhere. Anything. Cattle bother me. Cattle.
So that has to seem familiar, right? You've explained everything. You've anticipated anything they could possibly get wrong. You've been in the game long enough to know, okay, they're going to get to step 3 and they're going to make this mistake. So let me just explain under a subsection of step 3. Here's what you need to watch for, blah, blah, blah. And nothing. It doesn't matter. Oh, let's move on. So it's time to put the learning back on the learners. If you're into the whole metacognition of learning and stuff like that, you understand that you can explain stuff, but if they're not ready to learn, they're not going to learn it. So what we need to do is, again, we can bring the horse to water, right? We can't make them drink. What we need to do is just make the water available to them at all times. And that's what I'm going to try to do here. There's a few tools we're going to learn about, or that I'm going to talk about and do some demonstrations of, that will create the walkthrough for them that they can go to whenever they need it. Because again, you can show it to them. They're not going to necessarily get it at the moment. That's why we find ourselves repeating ourselves over and over again when we're in person. But this is something that you can create, put out there, and whenever they ask you that question, either at the time of the lesson or 3 weeks later when they finally do get to the lesson because they didn't do it on time, it's all right there for you. So we're going to start with this tool. It's one of my favorites. It's a Chrome extension as well as a tool, and it does have free options. It's called iorad. So I see someone posted something in the chat. Oh, Lisa, you're in Burnsville, Minnesota? You can come off. This is a small enough group. People just go ahead, blurt stuff out if you got questions. I'm cool with that.
Yes, Burnsville, Minnesota. I live in Plymouth, but yes.
Oh, right on. I'm in Bloomington. I teach in Bloomington, but right on. Cool. 2 Minnesota
Thanks.
people at OQ. All right, so we're going to go on with iorad here. Iorad does have a free option. So what iorad you can do with it is create these self-paced tutorials, and you can have this free version. It's unlimited public tutorials. It's free forever. It's unlimited public tutorials, access integration, which is one of the fun features because it will auto-translate your steps. You can try every premium feature twice, I'll get into some of those premium features. Only one of them, in my opinion, is really worth the effort. Unlimited learner access and multi-mode player. Not sure what that last one is. Then moving on, there is the $10 a month teacher one. I don't recommend that one unless you are given money from your district. Your school district could also get a quote from them, but truly what I found is the free version is good enough. If you really have to have those premium features, you can do what I call the Ed Puzzle cheat, which is you get two demonstrations that you would use, right? You get two demonstrations that access all the premium features. Just rotate which two you're putting out. I don't know if you've used Ed Puzzle, but you get a set number of videos you can use. You just rotate the ones you're using. Anyway, the point is, use the free version. I don't work for iorad. I'm not getting anything from this. I just think they're cool. And honestly, the free version is good enough. So let's move on. Demonstration time. What is iorad? So I'm going to move this, come over here. Move this out. How do I? Sorry, I'm a Google Meet person. Got to get this out of the way. Can you see up in the corner where my mousey is on this kind of pink thing here?
Yes.
Cool beans. All right, so what iorad is, if you were to have clicked here, it's going to bring you to iorad, right? You can either download the extension, which lets you start here, or you can actually, there is a way to have it be an actual app on your machine. I'm going to just recommend using this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google Classroom and just do something that you would probably have to deal with your students, assuming you're using Google Classroom, right? If you're using some other LMS, this works for them too. But what I would do is click on this. All right, you want to explain to the children how to get from this screen to this screen. You would think it'd be pretty easy to just say, click on the tab that says classwork, but of course it isn't. So with the iorad extension, you can go over here, click that, and it's going to give you the option to capture. So let's click the plus button. Before capture, close non-essential tabs. I'm not going to do that. Perform action slowly. And then here we go. Now I could say literally anything right now because this isn't a screen recording. What it's capturing is what you click on. There. And there. And that. Okay, so what I wanted them to see was how to click on the steps to get to the assignment. When I'm done, I click there, click done. So let's say what I wanted to do was show them how to get to classwork, right? So it now kept track of everything I clicked on, and it creates this step-by-step tutorial. So it says the first step is open DIY, impact edu, blah, 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 because that's the classroom I clicked on, right? Then there, watch video, no due date. You can adjust what it says here. I didn't want it to say that. Click view assignment. That's it, you're all done. Okay, so if that's what we wanted to say, right? We've adjusted what it's going to say. Over here in the steps, notice it outlines the things that we're going to click on. Now we click preview and finish. But again, with the premium things, you can do this. You can click add audio. You can choose what it speaks in, right? So this is really cool if you have English language learners that you can choose from all these different choices. It's not as many as are ideal yet. I'm here in Minnesota where we have a pretty extensive Somali population, and I'm not seeing that as an option, but you know, it does have Spanish and a few others. You can test the voice.
First step is to open DIY, impact education. The first step is to open DIY, impact. The first step is to open
So
DIY.
you can also decide which voice you want to do.
education
And
and
if you
click
click generate voice for all steps, it's going to do that. So now it'll read it out to the students. You can also translate it to speak it, or not just speak it in the language, but it'll also translate this as well.
Do you need to make 2 different videos if you wanted English and Spanish?
Great question. I think what you would do, yeah, you would have to do it that way, because and there's not an option for the children to, or adults or whoever you have view the tutorial. They won't necessarily have the chance to change it on the fly, right? Because what this will do is produce a link that you can look at. So you would have to make one for each language. That's a good question. Another
Thanks.
thing that I like
That
here is,
wouldn't be too bad though, because you could probably just duplicate it and then.
yeah, you just go, I'll show you at the end, but you would just go in and you can, yeah, that is one of the options when it's completed, to just copy and edit. Here's something that I think is kind of cool. If you didn't want it to show this, it'll mask stuff. So if what you're doing is you're creating something that might have, like, let's say you're doing a demonstration of what the students would see, but you don't want other students to see what the student you're using as the example for. Does that make sense? Right? So you can hide the things with this mask content. You can, again, throw in another step, whatever. All right, preparing preview. And then here's what we'll see. Start.
The first step is to open DIY, impact education and click classwork.
Get out of the way.
Click watch video. Click view assignment. That's it. You're done.
And then when you're done, you can copy the link, right? And now we could just, let's see if I can throw this in the chat for y'all. And now theoretically, you would all be able to go and look at that, right? You could also copy embed. So you could embed it into, say, a class website. So let's say you have a website where you wanted to create something like this for the parents, so the parents can see what the students are supposed to be doing, because that's never an issue, is it? So you could then embed that in your website, and you'd be able to have the kids, or have the parents, see what they're supposed to do. And then untitled task name, this was, well, yeah, just now. So like you were saying, would you have to make another one? You can edit, revision, draft, duplicate right here. So you click duplicate and then just redo the whole shebang in Spanish, as to your earlier question.
Can I ask a rudimentary question? At the beginning, you went to something up in the upper right and you said iorad.
iorad, sorry. Good. That's not rudimentary. That's kind of an important step, and I'm glad you asked. Do you see this thing in the corner here that says IO Rail Builder?
Right,
Is that popping up for you?
Yeah, however, that's, you have it, I don't, right? Because you have it on your as part of your apps, right?
Yep, it's an extension. And if you were to here, this guy, the bit.ly I shared out, you should be able to just click on it and get to here, and then you would, because it shows my smiley face up here, you could sign out. Well, you would get this, right? This is what would show up for you. And then you can sign in with Google, and you can add the extension. Does that make sense?
Unfortunately, I tried to download the extension, but it's blocked by admin.
Oh no, are you in your school one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm from outside your district. Plus, I'm using my ed tech trainer one, so I have control over that, and I've chosen to use it. I think you would have to talk to your admin people to see if they would get that. Otherwise, a workaround, and I'm not saying that you should cheat. I'm telling you how to cheat. There's a total difference here. There is an app that you can download that is an iorad app, and it'll do the exact same stuff. So you wouldn't need to install the extension.
What's the connection between iorad and DIY?
Oh, DIY, that's just the name of my session. DIY.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And so with the it's just a Google Classroom I created for this presentation to create these steps. Does that make sense?
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Question.
Yeah, please.
Does this work outside the Chrome browser?
Yeah, that's the thing that you can download of the actual app that will work on PC or Mac.
So it will record any screen on it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right,
I have a
let's.
quick question.
Yeah, please.
In my Chrome web store, it gives choices of iorad, iorad extension, iorad the tutorial.
Great. That I guess I don't know. I would pick the one that has this symbol. Is there one that is?
The iorad tutorial has that symbol. I didn't.
Then that's the one. That's the one then.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That actually was the slide next, which was, wait, what? Questions. Any others about it? Again, it has many other features, but if I'm honest, I don't use them all. In fact, the next tool I'm going to show is super feature rich, but what I'm using is just barely scratching the surface. And that's, oh, sorry, there's one more thing. Here are resources for iorad. You can, education, iorad, dangerously powerful. This is a really cool article about it. And then if you happen to be using Canvas, many of you, I think, are from the same district or same set of districts in California. Is that correct?
I don't know. I'm from Santa Ana.
There are a lot of us from Southern California.
I'm from
Right
San
on. Are you folks using Canvas or what's your LMS?
Yes, and Google.
Canvas.
Canvas.
Some teachers use Google too, but Canvas is what they want us to use.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same. Like my district, I'm in, like I said, Bloomington, Minnesota. That's how you have to say it. You don't. But the we have the Giuseppe, right? The Google Suite for Education Enterprise, so we can do Meet because we're not paying for Zoom as a district. But the elementary kids, K through 5, have to use Seesaw as their LMS, and 6 through 12 are using Canvas. But because we have the G Suite, we are still also using Google Classroom as kind of like supplemental, if that makes sense. But yeah, Canvas seems to be the thing that they're pushing towards, which, don't get me wrong, I love Canvas. It really has some features that nobody else does. But with iorad, Canvas can be confusing for kids. With iorad, you can create the steps and just embed it right into Canvas. So when they go, how do you can just embed the thing you've created and they can watch and figure it out themselves. And that's
Does it work with Seesaw?
Does it work with Seesaw? Not really. Only in the same way that you could create an iorad explaining to the kids how to use Seesaw, but you'd still have to embed it the same way you embed a link, right? With Seesaw. So it's still gonna pop out in their browser. Did that make sense?
Yes, it does. Would it work overlaying? Does it work overlaying a Google slideshow or a Google Doc, like showing where to click on something for an active link?
Oh yeah. In fact, I became an iorad ambassador only because I'm a Google certified trainer, and they're only taking Google certified trainers right now for the iorad ambassador program because they want us to create stuff because it integrates so well with Google. We're creating a whole set of things that are just building iorads that are like, here's how you change the font. Here's how, like, for all the Google tools. So yes, it works beautifully with Google tools.
Awesome, thanks.
Yep, and hopefully in the near future, there'll be a whole just spreadsheet of, you want to show the kids how to do what in Google? It already exists because we're creating those right now. So I say
if I reach out to you later, is there a way to get a link to some of that or not yet?
Of course, yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna follow you on Twitter right now.
Oh, yay! That's one. All right, moving on. This one is called ThingLink, and it has so many amazing tools, and we're barely going to scratch the surface right now of what it can do. Let's talk about what it is. ThingLink is a great way to create interactive images in public, interactive images, video, and even 3D interactive experiences. So it works with Google Slides and Nearpod. Yeah, I believe iorad will also work with those too. Sorry, I'm just peeking at the chat. So the free teacher version, Create interactive images in public mode, no student seats. I'll get into that in a second. Interactive image editing, publish unlimited images. This is what I use it for. Publish unlimited videos, which you can do, I don't. Virtual tour creation and 1,000 views per year. I don't know how many students you have. Just to really get in depth a little bit on what my job is, I teach beginner band in Bloomington. The reason I got into technology is because in Bloomington, Minnesota, every fifth grader is required to play an instrument, period. So every year I have 750 to 800 students. We have enough instruments to provide those kids with an instrument. The issue, of course, becomes how do I keep track of 800 students? There are 2.5 of us who do it, 2.5 FTE for 800 students every year. But the issue became, how do I keep track of them? That's why I got into technology and all this fun stuff. But even with all my students, I don't even come anywhere near 1,000 views per year with this thinglink-Free version, if that makes sense to you. All right, moving on. If you want to pay for the premium, you can get this for $35 a year, which, if I'm honest, I don't know what y'all were paying for Screencastify before it was free there for a while, but this is about the same price as Screencastify, and it's totally worth it if you want to have students create thinglinks, and then you get 60 student seats, and then $2 per additional student. Once you see what thinglink is, you might want to have students create it, and this might be worth it to you, but for the purposes of what I'm demonstrating here, this one is fine. I hope that makes sense to all of you. So moving on, demonstration time. What is thinglink? All right, let's go to it. It's going to bring up me. I have a premium subscription. Again, I don't come anywhere near it. I'm also not making any money from this. Someone was about to say something. Go ahead. My fifth graders. Oh, Letitia, hi. Loved using thinglink. Yeah, it is really cool. In fact, I'm going to tell you a secret that I didn't tell my students. I used this as we were virtual at the beginning of the year and my students were picking their instruments. These thinglinks that I showed to the kids, I only created this one. All these other ones were created by students, not me. So these were things that other kids somewhere in the world created, but this is what a thinglink will look like. It basically, you can take a picture and then they can mouse over it and see in real time what's there. Does that make sense? So like, let's say you take a screenshot of, well, I'll demonstrate it in a second, and then the kids can mouse over what you're showing them and it can explain it. You can also include video, right? So, and what's cool about it, it plays right there. It's not going to bump you out to another tab. So it's pretty cool for that reason. So let's go ahead and try to create one. First, let's click on create, upload image. So you would need to upload an image. I don't have one, so let's back up and decide what we want to do. I want to create one of once again, this, right? So let's do one of these. Just take a screenshot of this guy right here. Go to thinglink, upload image. In a moment, there it is, bada boom. And it's gonna bring you straight into the editor once you've uploaded. And here are the things you can do. You can add text and media, right? So this would be a good place to add like a video if you're going to choose to add a video. This could be a text label. This is content from a website. This is where you would embed stuff. Does that make sense? Embed code or URL. So for example, if I wanted to embed content, I could go back. Can't believe I closed this window. I should know better than that. Goodness. if I wanted to embed that thing that I just built, right? This is where I would embed it. Sorry, normally I'm a little more prepared than this. All right, so here we got this guy. Let's share. Let's grab the embed. You could do it that way, or you could just choose link. I'm gonna copy that. And then in the thing link, that's where you would put it. So now we could do this. And now this thing link that we've created, the kids will mouse over it. When they click it, it's going to bring up the steps that they need to do it. So now you could share this thing link or embed it into a website. And now the kids can, when they go to their Google Classroom and they're not sure what to do, you could share this with them, and it would be basically like a roadmap of all the things that they would have to do on this. And this is just one of the things that you could embed in it. Okay, so that's one of the cool things with thing links. What I really want to show more of is what other educators are doing. For example, let's say you aren't open for your kindergarten registration and you want the students to see what's actually the building is like. You can upload a video of a walk through the building, and as that video is going on, you can mouse over different parts of the video, and it can have pop-ups that show, oh, this is such and such classroom with such and such teacher. Other people have embedded into their website an interactive diagram of the building, and as you mouse over each one, each classroom, it could bring up that teacher's individual classroom or a wakelet that they've created for the classroom. It's really a super immersive tool that lets you take any image and just make it more interactive. Okay, this one's, I say it's all super exciting, and then I show you this and it's not really that exciting. But what I'm saying is that, and the best part is you can find stuff that other people have made so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Here's a Google Classroom one. So you don't necessarily have to create stuff. You can find it just by joining ThingLink. You want to do a Bitmoji classroom? Boom, this person's already created one. Oh, for general music, good for them. All right, so, and you can make a copy of it and start editing it yourself. So that's one of the cool things of ThingLink. And by taking an image, you can make it an interactive image so that the kids, when they go, well, what do I do with this on this website? You can create the picture of the website and show them what they are doing without them actually doing it live and potentially making mistakes. I see some more chats.
Quick
Again,
question. Can I
yeah.
have the students create one? Like, for example, let's say if I want them to, I don't know, find a cell and label it.
Right.
And describe and label, something like that.
Yep, you can absolutely do that. The only issue is with it, you would need to get this one. You'd have to go with the premium feature. Again, the whole idea behind my session here of DIY is you would create an interactive image that you could then share with the students that they could then look at themselves. So like you're creating stuff for them. If you wanted to do the premium version, right? And again, at this price, it's worth it if you want the children to create their own, your students to make something. You could do that and get up to 60 students at this price. And again, I don't get any money from this. And the only reason I have premium is because I do like doing this with my students. But yeah, you could have them create one within, where's my thing links? You could have the students create one, and then the best part is if you want, they can publish it and other people can see it. You can share it out and other people can find out about it. I just realized I kind of lost the thread of what I was saying. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anyone else have anything? Please just jump in and say stuff.
When I went on, it says something about an invitation code. to get it for free or whatever? Is there a need for that, or
No, no. And I would give you one if I had one, because I bet I get some sort of perk by inviting you, but I don't have one of those. So sorry. I think you can just sign up for free as a teacher. With
yes,
this link.
you can. You have that teachers totally free, and then there's a $35 like you mentioned, which is a premium. I mean, like $35 for a year as a premium is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I would agree, especially after that iorad thing. I only saw the premium of it when I was making the slide deck, and I'm like, it costs what a month? Or no, that's more than I pay for Disney Plus, and I really like Disney Plus. All right, so I demonstrated. This is the question time thing. Any other questions? Please just again blurt them out, because this is your time. So anyone else? I see there are some chats I didn't read yet.
I'm sorry. So you were saying it's $35 a year?
Yes, a year.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Right? I know,
Yeah.
especially because if we back up again, like look at my chats and seriously, dog, I have to keep petting her. She's gonna bark at me. This one, right? iorad at 10 a month per teacher. That's excessive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great tool, but come on, 10 a month. All right, but 35 a year, again, I can make that seem worthwhile. So anyway, this was the questions. And then here are some resources for ThingLink. And I love these resources. This one is my favorite. I feel like this was someone's like master's project, right? Like this is part of a thesis someone came up with. 87 plus interesting ways to use ThingLink in the classroom. That's a lot. Okay, so and it's all free. These resources. I mean, again, ThingLink has a price. And then if you happen to be a Microsoft district or do some sorts of Microsofty things, this is a link to the Microsoft EDU training course for ThingLink. And so you can get more in depth than what I just showed you. But again, this is all in the slide deck, and they're all live links. So let's move on. I'm going to say gifs. I know that's oh, Scott, you had a question.
Hi, Rick. So I'm a high school teacher, and one of the sources of frustration I have is under distance learning. It seems like I've got to do audio directions, video directions, and written directions for all my kids, yet I still get 300 questions from my students saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? And one of the first questions I ask them is, did you look at the directions? And their response is always no. I wonder if there's a better way, a more efficient way to create that culture, because I have all this stuff embedded in my classroom, yet it seems to me the first thing they do is email me at 2:15 in the morning or ask me a question during class when I've already laid it all out for them.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I feel like this whole thing that I'm showing here is doing what you've already described you're doing. The only thing I can think of is when we were in person, again, I work with fifth grade, which is the top of the elementary, but they're still like, they're not quite middle schooly yet. So in fact, a Flipgrid I did recently was show and tell with your pet or favorite stuffed animal. And at fifth grade, the amount of kids going, this is my favorite fuzzy wuzzy, it's adorable. They're still littles, right? I'm like, oh man, in a year, you're gonna regret that Flipgrid when I share it with everyone. Anyway, so to answer your question, when we're in person, we can always do the ask three before me thing, right? And you can build that potentially into the culture of your distance learning classroom with, hey, you obviously know how to get a hold of your friends. You need to talk to them first before you talk to me. But once again, I'm saying this like, I know this will work. I mean, you can try. I would love to say that once you've said it once, that's enough and they know better, but there's still kids. And I got to be honest, as an adult, I'm not a whole lot better. I get a thing and I look at, okay, what's the deliverable? What do I have to give them? Let's just jump right into it. why is this not working? Well, obviously I didn't look at the steps. So I feel that I don't know how we can do it other than to keep doing the Sisyphusian task of rolling that boulder back up the hill and saying, okay, check with your neighbors, check, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this is not a good answer, but a realistic-ish one.
I guess I'm just wondering if other high school teachers are experiencing the same thing, or if I'm on Lone Nut Island all by myself.
No, in fact, in the next room over, I have a 15-year-old son that when I'm home, when I'm done teaching, I'm coming to see how he's doing on his stuff and saying, well, let's look at the directions. I didn't do that. Whew. Okay, you need to look at those first, and then we can figure out what we're supposed to do. All right, I'm going to talk real quick about GIFs. I pronounce it GIFs. I've heard multiple people say GIFs. I prefer GIFs. If you prefer GIFs, that's fine. You were raised wrong. But in order to make this sound and acceptable to others, I'm going to say GIFs. There are many different ways of making GIFs, and I personally am a huge fan of WeVideo. Now, oh, I didn't include like pricing. WeVideo costs money, but the free version of WeVideo will allow a GIF exporter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to WeVideo and built right in to WeVideo is right when you get there, you have this right here as an option. You can just start right here creating a GIF. So let's choose a different project. Demo, sure, why not? If you are making a GIF of what to do within Google Classroom or whatever, I would say start here, click record, choose your screen. You don't have to embed yourself because they don't need to see you in a GIF. Click there. It's going to want to record audio, but with most GIFs, there is no audio. So we're going to do that. Let's do application. No, let's do Chrome tab. And we're going to do that one. It's going to start recording. Right now, it's just recording the screen. And I'm going to do that. Click stop. Okay, if we go back here to WeVideo, here's the preview. It's going to hear me talking because again, it's recording this as if it were video. The screen. I'm going to do that. Okay, so click save. It's going to pop it right here. You can edit it or do all sorts of fancy junk if you want, but if you're making a GIF, it's really not that important to you. Just click finish. It's going to finish doing whatever it does because WeVideo is great and all, but it's all out in the cloud, so nothing is saved on your device. Anyway, we're going to set it as an export. We're going to save it as a GIF. Let's make it, that doesn't really matter. It's more about how long it takes you to export. Let's click export. And as soon as it's done, you'll have a GIF that's made. It's 5 seconds long. You could have made it shorter. You can edit it. Anyway, there's tons of GIF, GIF makers that are out there. I just like this one because I'm very familiar with WeVideo. But if you're a Screencastify person, that has a GIF exporter. If you're familiar with iMovie, Snagit, all those other people. Oh, 5-minute warning, groovy. We will be done even quicker than that. So I guess where I'm going with this is there are many options for creating a GIF. Whatever one is your favorite, you can create that. And with a GIF, you can embed it into a slideshow or a PowerPoint that shows them repeatedly over and over what you're supposed to do. Go here, click that. Go here, click that. Go here. Do you see what I'm saying? So that can be a thing to help reinforce them. So this would be where I'd ask questions, but I'm sure many of you have seen a GIF or know how to make a GIF. So feel free to come off mute if you want to ask a question about a GIF. If not, here are a bunch of other ones. This is a bonus one that I just found that I think is adorable. It's called And Then I Was Like. It just brings you here. Click record. Now you've created that, save it, and you can just put it anywhere. So if you have students and you want to just say what a great job they did, you can make one of these, whatever you want, and it'll export it. And it seems to be free. I mean, it's probably getting all your data because, of course, as we know, if a product is free, you're the product. But let's not get into that. The point is you can create a GIF just that easily. It's pretty cool.
Where are those saved that you can go back and use them again then if you wanted to? Like,
oh, and then I was like this guy here.
Yeah, like the one you made. If you make multiple ones, like you just said, the thumb up or whatever, is there a place that you go grab them easily?
Probably, but I don't know that I would trust this as a place. What I would do is I would take this code and then just make a list of just create a document that you throw them all in. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yep,
yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
I'm sure you could come here and find it again, but then you're beholden to these people. All right, so back to this. Are there any other questions about GIFs?
How can I get?
Go ahead.
Yeah, how can I get a link to the slide deck?
A great question. It is a bit.ly that I'll share again at the end, but I will definitely be sharing that. Finally, I'm coming in for a landing here. There are a lot of different ways you can put them all together. At this point, I would have normally gone back to ThingLink and put them all into one where you've got your ThingLink picture of Google Classroom. You can embed an iorad that shows you what the steps are for each one of the touch points of the site, right? Or you could import a GIF showing you what happens when you click on the thing, if that makes sense. You can make a thing link and embed blah, 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 all this stuff. You can see what I've written here. And then that's it. This is my thank you. You can go to my website or my Twitter. I'm going to really quickly pop over here. Copy that. Throw it into the chat again. Everyone, boop. So there, did you all see that in the chat?
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that link. I'll make sure I add that link to the at a glance. So in case anyone looks at that, they'll be able to access today's presentation resources.
Cool beans.
Well, I want to formally thank Rick. I'll give him a round of applause for all of his support today and sharing up during our session 1 with our OCQ Magical Mystery Tech Fest. And I want you to know we'll be coming back together in just a few moments for our session 2. So do maybe get a sip of water, take a stretch break, and figure out what session you'd like to attend. You can join that breakout room and be able to join right back in. But thank you so much again. Want to wish everyone a wonderful Tech Fest, and we'll see you back in the main session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Rick.
Bye.
Well done.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
That can sound so
Oh, wow. Hey there,
inappropriate.
friends.
Just saying.
Some people have a bias based on their personal experience, Valerie.
Hi, John.
Hi, Valerie. By the way, I think I have a couple of Edge Protocols gigs coming up for you.
That sounds great. Rita, why is it only me?
Feeling you today about something, but I don't know now.
Listen, if you've been a middle school teacher for quite some time, everything can become dirty,
Yeah,
okay?
no, it's all
Anything and
bad.
everything. It's all bad.
Yeah.
Yay,
You have to be really careful with your words. Like really, really careful.
I just let them know that I'm not good at that. So just let it go. I just said, look, this is going to happen about 4 times a day. So don't do that.
Well, and nowadays we're recorded. And so then you go like, oh, and
I never listen back ever.
No, I don't listen back. But I know for the first couple months of school, like I had a grandparent or a parent sitting right next to the kid to make sure that they were getting all they needed to get. And I'm like, oh, it makes me like.
See, you just did it right there. You just did it right there.
I know, and I didn't even mean to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's neat is like with this complete issue we had starting this whole event, and nobody like got scared. Nobody, got upset. It's like well, we just pivoted, fixed it. Everybody logged off, logged back in again. It's really neat when we have problems when we're presenting, because then I tell teachers that I'm training,
Oh,
don't be afraid of a
upskilling.
problem. You're
Yep.
going to
That's
solve
right.
it, and
That's
you're going to
right.
solve it live while being recorded.
We get to
Yep,
model flexibility
Mhm.
and taking deep breaths.
Well, and I've noticed that my students are becoming less panicky. Like at the beginning of the year, like if a link didn't work or they thought they were going to be late or whatever, it was like, this link isn't working. I'm like, okay, we'll fix it. And so like they're starting to adopt the calmer demeanor, which is so not my demeanor. Like calm is not my thing. But I'm like, okay, we're just going to go with it. We're going to be okay,
So Jorge, are the breakout rooms, they should still be open, right?
I have to close them so we can recreate them, so people can choose their own rooms again.
Maybe. Oh, you can't just leave them open so people can leave and come back?
Yeah, you can,
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah.
Leave them open, but yeah.
but I don't see the option to pick a breakout room.
Mine just popped up.
Oh, maybe I just have to wait.
You have to go to if you click on the breakout room link, and then the rooms will pop up and you slide your cursor over and it will say to join.
I know how to do it. I just don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. It went and came back.
Yeah.
I left so that I could download my recording from the first session, but I don't see. Oh, now I see him. Okay.
I know,
here
it
we
took a little.
So do we go to the room now or no?
Yep.
And then all the times are updated on our at a glance in case I'm sure you guys are.
You're
already talking
awesome.
about that,
You're
right?
awesome. You guys are awesome.
JC. All right.
Just send me wherever I go, Jorge.
No, you need to.
I do not have screen powers.
All
Hey,
right.
Omar.
All right. Hey there. Welcome. Give me a moment here. I'm going to be sharing privileges.
And just a quick thing, Omar. I'm Kevin. I'm the